Welcome to the Precision Runway Monitor lesson. This lesson discusses the requirements and procedures used during Precision Runway Monitor, or PRM, approaches. Precision Runway Monitor, or PRM, approaches are independent, simultaneous approaches conducted to parallel runways with center lines separated by less than 4,300 feet, but at least 3,000 feet. The approach courses are normally parallel, but may be offset by 2.5 to 3 degrees depending on the runway separation. A no transgression zone, or NTZ, is located in between the approach courses. It is monitored by high-resolution ATC radar displays, automated tracking software that provides two monitor controllers with aircraft identification, position, speed, and a 10-second projected position. If an aircraft enters the NTZ, the monitor controller will issue a breakout instruction that directs the aircraft out of the NTZ. Approach charts used to conduct PRM approaches contain PRM as part of the approach name. The approach chart also includes any special restrictions or requirements for the approach. The approach plate notes, dual VHF comm required. This refers to the tower frequency and the PRM monitor frequency that must be used during the approach. An Attention All Users page is included for each airport where PRM approaches are conducted. When communicating with ATC during a PRM approach, the tower transmits on both the tower and PRM monitor frequencies, while the aircraft transmits on only the tower frequency, but monitors both. This is done to protect against a blocked breakout instruction from the monitor controller. The monitor controller's breakout instructions will override both the tower and PRM frequencies. If the monitor controller's breakout instructions are blocked on the tower frequency, it can still be heard on the PRM frequency. One no transgression zone, or NTZ, monitor controller and one tower controller are assigned to each runway during PRM operations. The controllers watch for any off-course deviations, especially those that may take the aircraft into the NTZ. If an aircraft deviates off course, the controller monitoring that aircraft will give instructions to return the aircraft back to the final approach course. In the rare case a breakout instruction is issued, it will begin with traffic alert, followed by the aircraft call sign, a turn direction and heading, and a climb or descent. All breakouts must be hand-flown. Flight crews should assume that a conflict is developing and execute any breakout instructions without delay. If during a breakout, the TCAS issues a climb or descend resolution advisory, or RA, that contradicts the controller's instruction, follow the TCAS RA while executing the turn portion of controller's instruction. A simultaneous offset instrument approach, or SOIA, is a procedure used to conduct simultaneous approaches to runways spaced less than 3,000 feet, but at least 750 feet apart. SOIA procedures use an ILS PRM approach to one runway and an offset localizer type directional aid, or LDA, PRM approach with a glide slope to the adjacent runway. At the offset approach missed approach point, the aircraft leaves the final approach course and proceeds visually to the airport. Using normal maneuvers, the aircraft will establish itself on the extended runway centerline 500 feet above ground level. The offset missed approach point is the end of both the NTZ and instrument segment of the approach, and the beginning of the visual approach segment. Prior to reaching the offset missed approach point, the pilot must make visual contact with the aircraft flying straight to the runway, report to ATC that the aircraft is in sight, and have visual contact with the landing runway. If the above criteria are not met, then a missed approach must be executed at the offset missed approach point. ATC will space the aircraft on the offset approach slightly behind to aid in visually acquiring the straight-in aircraft. A minimum cloud ceiling is required to ensure the offset aircraft will exit the overcast 25 seconds or more before it reaches the offset missed approach point. Pilots conducting the offset approach are cautioned not to prematurely turn off the offset approach and accidentally enter the NTZ. Inside the offset missed approach point, pilots are responsible for wake turbulence and collision avoidance. Inside the offset missed approach point, if the aircraft loses visual contact with the leading straight-in aircraft, the pilot should inform ATC and execute the published missed approach unless otherwise instructed by ATC. When conducting an offset LDA approach, the missed approach point depicted on the approach chart and the missed approach point in the FMS are located at the same position. When executing an offset RNAV approach, the missed approach point depicted on the approach chart and the missed approach point in the FMS are not located at the same position. This is done to provide vertical guidance to the runway threshold. If a missed approach is executed, the flight crew must always conduct the missed approach procedure depicted on the approach chart. That is incorrect. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. That is incorrect. That is incorrect.